evening, ghosts and ghouls. You're listening to a horrible podcast.
Good evening. We're back and in black. Or back in black. You're listening to a horrible conversation / horrible podcast. I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder.
And we're going to be bringing you the latest news, topics, movies, and the horror community, and more. And a lot of shit we hate.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
Well,
let
me start it off by talking about some upcoming films. Some of these are already out and they're past date, but not too far. What's today? The 20th, the 21st, whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, here's some movies coming to video on demand, and some are coming to Shudder. There's one that's coming to theaters. So, first of all, I want to say Megan is coming to DVD. If today's the 21st, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, if
when
it
we're doing
is,
this.
well, if it is, Megan just hit shelves today for all the DVD collectors and Blu-ray and all that good shit.
4K.
So if you don't have a streaming service that you can watch the movie, you can go out and purchase it.
I tried watching the unrated version and fell asleep.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to try to finish it. Ooh, excuse me. Tonight, I watched Ghost Ship today.
Sweet.
It's actually better than I remember.
Oh, yeah. I watched Predator 2 the other day, so, I mean, we don't just watch, a movie once and then forget about it. We watch these fuckers multiple times.
Yeah, we live this life. It shows. It is neat. You can't see this. Or
no, I didn't hit my knee. It's just a pain shot through it.
You're old.
But, anyway.
Said, hey, Chris, you want to come down here and rub my knee?
My nipples.
Anywho,
there's a movie coming March 17th to Shudder called Leave. So look out for that. And there's another one called The Unheard coming out March 31st. So both of them will be hitting the Shudder streaming service. March 14th, it's already passed, but fuck it, we'll mention it. It's a movie called The Lake, will be on video on demand. Unwelcome will be March 14th as well on video on demand. March 16th was The Resurrection of Charles Manson. I've seen the trailer of this. It looks pretty weird. The Ghost Within hits video on demand March 17th. The Hid Mistress March 21st on video on demand. And March 24th, which is Friday, video on demand, a movie called Stalker. So those are upcoming titles for people who like to, go on the video on demand and purchase movies for a date night, movie night, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's cheaper to do that than actually go to the fucking theater these days. I mean, to rent a movie from Vudu is like $3 and some change. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much taking the place of, going to video stores and renting movies, because that's the same that you did. You pay $3 or something, you get a new, and you have to bring it back the next day.
Yeah, going to the movies is fucking expensive. Ugh.
Indeed it is, my friend. But some other news, the great movie from 1985 called Phenomena.
Yeah.
Directed by Argento.
Yeah.
It's finally getting a 4K release.
I saw the cover for it.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that.
Looks pretty dope. I will be buying that one.
And
snagging it up.
A little tease from the director of Evil Dead Rise. They said that be looking out for Bruce Campbell, because he's somewhere in the film. Whether it's actually him or something that represents him or something, I don't know.
Is it just a Bruce Campbell cameo, or is this Ash?
I don't know. He's trolling everybody. He's just like, look out for him. It might be the car, it might be a figure, it might be some writing. Hell, he might be walking in the background. Who fucking knows?
Anyway, speaking on that, there was so I guess they had like their first showing, and I don't know where it was at, but I saw it on TikTok, and the producer was there, Bruce Campbell was there, I think somebody else was there. Anyway, and I guess they were doing the audience questions, like Q&A stuff, and then this one guy just said, "This movie fucking sucks." And he started running his mouth and shit. And then the director, producer, whoever it was, said, "Somebody must be possessed," and everybody started laughing. He was like, "Fuck you." Anyway, Bruce Campbell, being the awesome person he is, he said, "Why the fuck are you here? Go home. Fuck you."
Yeah.
Anyway, if you get a chance to check it out, it's pretty funny. But don't be that guy. If you don't like it, just keep your fucking opinions to yourself or start a podcast.
Yeah.
Don't be fucking disrespectful like that.
Yeah.
Faggot.
Especially, I mean, there's other people there that did enjoy the film, and they are wanting to hear from Bruce Campbell and the director and the producers and all that. They want to hear all that stuff. It's like if you go to a convention and they have a couple people there from like one certain movie, and they go into a room and they have like a Q&A with them, like what we saw with Halloween 3. Let's just say it is Halloween 3. If you don't like Halloween 3, why the fuck would you go and sit in the Q&A session?
Right. Like, if you're that upset by the movie, why not leave? Or be creative. Start asking them questions to make them think, like, why did you go in this direction? Don't you think this is far off? You know, put them on their feet. Like, be creative. Be smart about it. Don't just be a fucking putz.
Yeah, there's definitely, there's definitely ways to ask questions without coming off offensive about it or coming off, hostile about it.
Yeah. Be smart about it.
And, I mean, if you just sit down and fucking listen, they'll probably answer your question without you even having to answer it.
Yeah, he's just probably upset because Ash isn't in it.
Yeah, whatever.
But they told you that to begin with, cocksucker.
Yeah, the rest of my shit has to do with Scream, so what do you have that doesn't have to do with Scream?
Sydney. All right. Jordan Peele's fourth movie is set to release Christmas 2024. It has no title, and we have no idea what the fuck it's going to be. But speculation is it's going to be kind of probably a Christmas horror movie, possibly. So we'll see. I think he's kind of struck out past two, personally. I know that's a very unpopular opinion and a hot take, but it's my opinion.
In my opinion, Jordan Peele has went down the shamalama ding dong path, meaning he has a few good ones and a few bad ones at this point. And since, some of the movies you can't call all his because all he was a writer, but he did contribute to it. So
yeah, I'm going to give him a pass on Candyman. Honestly.
Yeah, well, he wrote the damn thing. He didn't direct it, but he did write it. If they followed his writing to a T, then
it's his fault.
Yeah, it's his fault.
But that director, she is a cunt.
Yeah.
And
she's worse than the people that played in the last Black Panther movie, They were out there talking about, it's black, excellence, and it's female driven, and if you don't like my movie, you're against black excellence, and you're against females and all this other shit.
You're sexist.
Right, and then there's other people out here going, the movie just sucked. We don't have to support things that we don't like just because, it has one narrative in it.
Right.
Just because this movie has all black females doesn't mean that it gets a pass for being good.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
If it's a shitty movie, it's a shitty movie. I don't give a fuck what color you are.
And that's kind of
creed, religion.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the problems with today's Hollywood movies. And unfortunately, it's leaking over into the horror genre because, you know, they all look at, I mean, it all kind of goes hand in hand, and it's like, you know, look what we did with the cast that we did it with, and, you know, we're all like, that's cool, but, you know, it's yet to be seen if we're going to like it. I just don't automatically like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if a guy came out and said, this movie is white made, white directed, white produced, white everything, and I'm just like, this movie probably sucks because it's too much emphasis on you know what you're trying to sell here. You're not trying to sell a good movie. You're trying to sell some type of political statement.
Right. And to me, it's racist. Like you've got to be, if you're black, you've got to support this.
Yeah.
That's racist. To me,
yeah,
I mean, I
wouldn't
support.
You get into that fucking Joe Biden territory, you know. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah. I mean, and if you flip the script and you say, well, you know, you've got to support this movie or you're not white. Well, first of all, fuck you.
Right.
I'm very anti-government, period.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in their fucking agendas. And fuck this religion, race, like, driven bullshit. Like, take it and stick it up your ass and leave my horror movies alone.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we just want to see good movies, man. We don't want to be preached at.
Right.
We don't want, I mean, if you can take a theme in real life, I've said this before, if you can take something that's happened in real life and put it on film and make it good and interesting, like, for example, we reviewed that movie Sick a couple months ago, and we both really liked it, and it was about wearing masks and all this other shit. But the way it came off, it was really great. Now, the opposite of that would be a movie like They, Them, which I know you haven't seen, but I saw, that was totally preachy and was totally, you know, if you didn't belong to the movement, you were a bad guy, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we don't want those types of movies. We want movies that can, you know, you can get your message across, but do it in a fair way.
But that's the thing. They don't push these movies unless it's got their agenda in it. Because I'll give you an example. Barbarian. Fantastic movie. Like a fucking 10. A black female lead. Nobody said a goddamn word about it.
Yeah.
And that movie was amazing. Like, that's going to be one of those, like, you know, iconic movies.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those movies where you go, Barbarian was great, and somebody goes, oh, I haven't seen that. You go, what?
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be one of the under radars, but to horror fans, it's going to be like up there, like, dude, you should see this.
Right.
In my opinion.
But nobody was like, oh, this is amazing, you know, because it's a black female in it.
Right. It was
was amazing because it was an amazing story, and she's a phenomenal actress.
Right.
Anyway,
what we got?
The full trailer for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game is out now. If you want to check that out, ladies and gentlemen.
Sweet.
It looks pretty good. They kind of changed up the things with the game. They added 2 new characters to the family. I can't remember the names that they gave them, but it's a guy and a girl. They're there to lure people in.
Gotcha.
Anyway, the game will be available 8/18/23, so we're not too far away from it.
Yeah, just about 5 months.
It looks pretty good. Pretty much, if you like the Friday the 13th game, you're probably gonna like this game. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is on Rotten Tomatoes, top 100 worst movies of all time.
Cool.
Rightfully so. That movie sucked.
Well,
you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, and I don't I'm not discarding your opinion. I will tell you that I could give a fuck all about Rotten Tomatoes, but
yeah, I feel the same way about Rotten Tomatoes, but I
don't. I didn't expect this movie. I didn't expect this movie to be good. I didn't expect it to be good neither, but I expected them to take liberties and, like, you know, add things into it, but they don't, and that's the problem. They didn't take any liberties, like, you know, Winnie the
Pooh saying, like, funny stuff. You cheese it up. Like, this was one of those movies where it should have had cheesy moments in it.
Gotcha.
But they didn't. And we will review it sometime soon when Old Thunder gets a chance to look at it. Filming has completed for the new Exorcist reboot and will be out October 13th this year.
Yep.
So, I don't know how, we've expressed our opinions on that. We don't think it's going to be good. It's going to be CGI to death. But, prove me wrong. That's all the news that I have.
Well.
So,
I go to this website pretty often. It's called JoeBlow.com.
Joe Blow.
Yeah, and they have their list of the 5 best slasher films of the 90s. And I thought it'd be cool to, like, just kind of hear their list and kind of react to them.
Okay, cool.
They also have 3 honorable mentions. I'll mention that first. Their first honorable mention was I Know What You Did Last Summer from 1997.
I like that movie.
The other one, a little bit under the radar, I've seen it, of course, but it's from 1995, and it's The Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard.
I mean, yeah, it's good. I like it.
And finally, from 1998, they have Bride of Chucky.
Okay.
Those are your 3 honorable mentions. So, kicking off at number 5 is from 97, and they put The Wishmaster.
Wishmaster. Interesting. Do you consider that a slasher?
Yeah, it's a slasher film. It's in my opinion, it's no different than a Nightmare on Elm Street type of deal. I mean, fantasy and slashers. Of course, in the golden age of slashers, like in that early 80s to mid 80s, like the golden era of it, slashers wasn't exactly fantasies. They were like just some crazy nut killing people.
Right.
But then that's why I think Nightmare on Elm Street kind of changed the game when it came out, because it kind of shifted it. Yeah, it shifted it into a, like, no, not only can these be slashers, but you can do fantasy slashers. So yeah, I consider Wishmaster a slasher. Coming in at number 4 is from 1998, is Urban Legend.
Amazing movie. Love that movie.
Yeah. I think it gets lost in the shuffle.
It does.
Because you have, like, Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, but many people forget about Urban Legend. Yes. Now, I happen to think Urban Legend is a little bit more entertaining than I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I second that.
Anywho, again, going back to that fantasy slasher, number 3 is from 1992, and it's Candyman.
Okay. I'm interested to see what their number 1 is.
So their number 2 from 1996 is what we're going to be talking about here today, which is Scream.
Interesting.
And their number 1 best slasher film of the 90s is from 1994. And it's Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
You should see the look I'm giving him.
That's their list. I read it and I thought that it, yeah. They should have titled this, in my opinion, these are my favorites or whatever. Yeah, in my opinion, they left off a whole lot of good shit that, yeah. So I came up with a little bit of a list myself.
Let's hear it, Spanky.
So number 5, I agree with Urban Legend. I'm gonna put Urban Legend at number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, I went back and forth between 2 movies in the same franchise. Halloween 6 and Halloween H2O. I went with Halloween 6 because I think it's more of a slasher film than Halloween H2O is.
Okay.
So that was my number 4. My number 3, no doubt about it, my favorite of the franchise, Child's Play 2 from 1990.
Agreed.
My number 2 is Candyman from 1992. And their number 2 is my number 1, which is Scream from 1996.
Interesting. My list would be very similar to yours. It's kind of hard not to put Scream at number 1, honestly. But yeah, it surprised me they didn't put Child's Play 2 on there, or either one of the Halloween movies.
Yeah, that was kind of like,
I personally probably would have went with H2O. I just like H2O a little bit better. Just personal, but you are right. 6 is a better slasher.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, but I don't know. To me, like, it's a fun watch. I know a lot of people probably listening are like, yeah, H2O is a really shitty movie. No, it's not.
No, I don't think it's a shitty movie. I like some of the other ones better. But anyway, speaking of Scream, the filmmakers came out and said, and I quote, "We aren't giving up on bringing Nib Campbell back for another sequel." And I believe them. And I hope they do, because some of the newer cast members I could give all a fuck about.
Well, to piggyback off, yeah, so we're pretty much into this with Scream news. Neve Campbell has seen the new Scream movie. And
okay.
She made a comment. She said that she thinks that they did a good job, and she appreciates how they took care of her character, pretty much. And we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do. I mean...
And honestly, I mean, they didn't disrespect her character. They did a good job with that, which I think that they didn't want to burn any bridges because, you know, it's, you know, you kind of need her. She's like the ultimate final girl.
Yeah. And I think
mean, at this point, I think she's, I know this is hard to say, that I think that she is probably the best final girl of all because of how solid all the Scream movies are.
Yeah, she might be.
I mean, I think she might have Curtis beat. Like, if they come back with, like, Scream 7, which I'm sure they will, she's pretty much gonna... I'm pretty sure that they're gonna fucking throw money at her this time.
Yeah.
Because this movie would have been bigger than it was, but this movie done very well. But, as we do time to time in these conversations, is that we go through a rating list, and we rate them what we would rate them. And we even pulled up some polls. What do people rate Scream movies? So we're going to go through the IMDb ratings for the Scream movies, 1 through 6. All right, so do you want to go 6 to 1 or 1 to 6?
Let's go 6 to 1.
All righty. Scream 6, 7.2 out of 10.
What did I give it? I gave it a 6.5, didn't I?
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 6.5, so it's not too far off from what I actually gave it.
Yeah. The people, out of a 1 through 5 is what the people rate it, is a 4.0 out of 5, or even 4.
I think it's a little bit too high.
I do too, because I would give it probably a 2 at best. Scream 5, a 6.2 out of 10 by IMDb.
I disagree.
I thought 5 was better than 6.
If I'm going to give 6 a 6.5, and I got to rate 5, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give 5 a solid 7.
Okay.
I'm going to give 5 a solid 7.
I would probably give 5. I'm going to debate. I would give it a 6, personally. Even 6. The people gave it a 3.4 out of 5.
I guess that's fair.
I guess so. All right. Scream 4 got a 6.2 out of 10. So it got the same as Scream 5.
I totally disagree. Scream 4 is literally my second favorite movie in the whole franchise.
Right.
So, I'm thinking what I give the first film, and I can't give it what I give the first film. It's got to be a little bit lower, but not that much. So, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9.
I am on par with you because Part 4 is one of my favorite too. I think it's just all around a great movie. The people gave it a 4.1 out of 5.
Okay. Mine's not too far off. Mine would be,
So out of a 4, yours would probably be like a 4.5 if you did a 1 through 5.
Yeah. Well, if let's just say I give the first one a solid 10, and I just gave this one a 9, and if we're going off of their ratings where it's 5 is the highest, and I'd give the first one a 5.
Yeah.
I guess I'd give this one a 4 because I wouldn't be bothered by doing that 4.1 or whatever. So it's probably higher than what I would actually rate it.
Okay.
But only because I don't do that 0.5 shit or whatever,
Right.
But yeah, it's on par.
Scream 3
Yeah. Go ahead.
is a 5.6 out of 10 by IMDb.
A 5?
5.6.
I disagree. I disagree because Scream 3 is my third favorite in the franchise, just below the first one and Scream 4.
I give it an 8.
I gave it an 8.5.
Okay. I'm just doing like solid numbers. The people like this one a little bit better than Part 5. They gave it a 3.9 out of 5. So almost a 4.
Cool.
So it's right under Scream 4 by 2 points. So, anywho, Scream 2, which is regarded as the worst one in the franchise by a lot of people, is a 6.3 out of 10. So this is actually the third highest out of all of them.
Well, it's out of the 6 movies, it comes in at number 5 on my list. So the only movie I think it's better than is the recent Scream 6. And I gave Scream 6 a 6.5. So I would give this one just a 7.
I give this one a 6 because I gave Scream 6 a 4. The more I think about it, the more I hate it. The People is on par with 4 somehow, and 2 with a 4.1 out of 5. I was kind of blown away by this because I thought it would be the lowest rating out of all of them, but
no,
it's not.
If you go online, before we talk about the first one, because I know the first one's going to be it's going to be solid. If you go online and you ask anybody what's the worst Scream movie, and you did a survey, Scream 3 is going to come at the bottom.
You think so?
Scream 3 always comes at the bottom. Scream 3, everybody hates that film.
Well, it's the lowest rated on this list.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And Scream 3 came in at number 3 on my list, which tells me or tells you that I disagree with the people.
The People.
Yeah, I disagree with them.
Bundy, you fat piece of shit.
Yeah, I disagree with them. Yeah.
Alrighty. And number 1 was Scream, the only one in the franchise that should be called Scream, because we don't call number 5 Scream. A 7.4 out of 10.
That's a low fucking score.
That's what I thought too. It's the highest rated out of all of them, but it still falls less than 10. I think
it's just people shitting on fucking horror movies. That's all it is.
More than likely.
No, Scream is a 10. Scream is a 10. It's wonderful.
10. Fucking 10.
It's a wonderful movie. As a slasher film goes, it's one of the best slasher films ever, even if you put it up against the classics. And at this point, this is a classic, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best suspense thriller slashers possibly ever.
Yeah. And, just so everybody knows, I don't hate any of these films in this franchise.
I think it's the most solid franchise.
Yeah, it's the most solid franchise. It's just, I think Scream 6 could have been a little bit better for what they did.
Could have been a lot bit better.
I've talked about things that I enjoyed. It's been a while since I talked about it. I had time to think it back over, and I pretty much come to the same conclusion. It didn't bother me about who the killer's reveals were. The actual kills that we got in the film I thought were solid. The location, the way it was shot, the cinematography, the music, everything was on point. The little sister, what's her name? Ortega, is that her name? Something? I can't remember her name. She's all over, but I can't remember her name. Anyway, I think she's wonderful. I think everybody was, all the cast was standable except for that one sister who was
Sam?
No, not one sister. The guy's sister, not
the redhead.
The guy's sister of the main four.
Oh,
yeah. The one that always was like, this movie sucks. I'm not going to be in the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
talking about the
if she could have,
let's be honest here.
Yeah, if she could have died, I probably would up my rating. Honestly.
Yeah.
But, other than, and like, her character annoyed me, and the fact that some of the people in this film were stabbed pretty brutally, and
like her fucking girlfriend gutted like a fish.
Yeah, they were stabbed pretty bloody and gory and multiple times, and they just didn't have the balls to pull the trigger to kill off any main characters. It is death scenes in this movie, don't get me wrong. It's just nobody dies that are significant to this story.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's called being fucking safe and not having the balls to do it, So they promoted this movie as, look, we're taking it out of Woodsboro. We're putting it in New York. Look, there's Ghostface with a gun. Look, we're doing all these different things that's never been done before. We have balls. And then you see the movie and they don't kill off any main characters when they should have. No, you don't fucking have balls. You purposely done this just so we wouldn't say you didn't have any balls, but you can't fool me, fucker.
What's the matter? Did your balls just fall off or something?
Yeah, you can't substitute one thing for another and then expect us not to notice.
Right.
And people have seen this movie and they have liked it way more than we have. They have said this is the best one since the first film. This is a great film. This is this and that and blah blah blah. Best film of the year, blah blah blah. All the whole nine yards. And I don't think that they have talked to somebody like me and you who are pretty, we're pretty seasoned vets when it comes to horror films.
Yeah.
And, if you're blind to something and you can't point out the flaws and then somebody does point it out, it kind of brings your ego down, and I don't think anybody wants that.
Yeah, because, if you listen, we follow some guys on YouTube, like Cody Leach and the other guy. I can't think of his name right now.
I don't know. I got him at it.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool though.
They're on par with us. The thing is, we don't watch their reviews until after we do our reviews because we don't want to be influenced by them.
Yeah.
And their opinions were pretty much on par with us.
That's pretty much what we do. You know, when you listen to us, we don't want you to take our word as gospel.
No.
We just want you to, like, just hear our opinion. We do the same thing with other guys. We listen to a whole lot of other guys on YouTube, as you just mentioned, and we, first of all, we watch them because we enjoy doing it, even if we disagree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
Just because we like to, you know, hear stuff about horror films and other people's opinions. And then, you know, we'll discuss it and we'll, you know, rip them a new asshole if we want to, but
Yeah.
we still enjoy listening to them.
Exactly.
And that's all we want you guys to do is just listen to us. And, you know, if we make you laugh, cool. If it makes, you know, if you share the opinion after you see the movie, then that's
Great.
cool. You know, maybe it just gives you something to think about, like, ooh, I watched that movie, but I didn't think about what you just mentioned. So, you know,
Right.
stuff like that.
We want you to scratch your head a little bit. But the people, what did the people give Scream, the OG, a 4.5 out of 5, making it the highest rated Scream movie by the people?
Yeah, and I know that I've went on a rant before about Oscars and Rotten Tomatoes and these so-called film professional critics, and this is no different. Like, any other rating shouldn't even be considered. It should only be the people. It should only be people that go and watch these films that should have opinion on them. It shouldn't be some
Exactly.
jack-off in a two-piece suit who is already pre-programmed to hate horror movies.
Yeah.
Okay, Cisco and Ebert, you fucking puppet-looking bastard, I'm glad you died.
2 thumbs up. Had enough of Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah. So, you know, I have never believed in professional critics. These people actually got paid to put their opinions on movies.
Yeah, fuck
What?
them.
Like, first of all, do you know how much of an oxymoron that is? Like, how can you be an expert when it's an opinion?
Because
There's no
logic.
such thing. Either you're an expert in the field or you're not.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people tell me all the time, you know, I would consider myself an expert fan of horror movies. I wouldn't consider myself an expert on how to make horror films.
No.
Like, I know what could make a successful horror movie. Do I know the means of how to get there? Absolutely not. I'd freeze up like a motherfucker and it'd look worser than a fucking $3 bin at fucking Walmart.
Yeah.
So, you know,
He is looking at you, Pooh.
yeah. So that's my opinion. But you know, God, anything, you know, whether it's Grammys or Oscars or fucking horror movies or anything else, when it comes to critics and people that decide these awards and all this shit, it should only be the people. It should be people that pay their hard-earned money to go see it, that buy it on DVD, that get it on video on demand, that fucking show it to other people, that talk about it, that quote it, that buy fucking T-shirts, that buy the fucking pop figures, that do all these stuff. Those are the people that care enough about it to have what you would call close to an expert opinion on it. Not these jack-offs that are predetermined not to like horror movies in general unless it's fucking something, you know, Hand That Rocks the Cradle or some shit that's not even really horror.
Yeah, and even when they like horror movies, I'm very skeptical.
Yeah, when they, you know.
Because I think IGN gave fucking Scream 6 a 9 out of 10.
Well, you know, again, that's...
And IGN, yeah, fuck them and a pooper.
That's why
place.
That's why after we watch a movie, I kind of want to simmer before we go straight into our review of it. Like, you want to review it because it's fresh in your head, but at the same time, you want to give it a time to simmer to get you to think about things as well. So,
yeah, like, did you really like it or did you really hate it?
Right. Because I'll be honest with you, the second I walked out of the theater, Scream 6 was higher in my mind.
Yeah, but the more we got to talking about it,
the more I got to think about it.
You started seeing what I saw.
Right. The more we got to talk about it, more we started discussing certain things. I'm like, shit, yeah, you're right. Fuck. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think a lot of these people don't have anybody to do that. It's just like, hey, did you like it? Fuck yeah, I loved it. All right, let's go fucking eat pizza now. And that's about the end of the discussion. So they get on fucking line and they go under the YouTube channels and the fucking Facebook pages and they're like, oh, Scream 6 is fucking amazing. It's better than the first one.
No, it's not.
You know, so, but, you know, give it a little goddamn time, people here. Come on now.
Well, we're going to start plugging our social media stuff. You can follow us on TikTok at A Horrible Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at A Horrible Podcast. If you like it, share it, subscribe, let us know. We appreciate any feedback that we can get. We just posted a new Molly Cyrus video on our TikTok. Having a little fun with it because her voice kind of sounds like a familiar character named Reagan. And I think that's pretty much going to be like going forth our TikTok. We're just going to try to, you know, be lighthearted and humorous with our content on there.
We also have a lot of stickers if anybody wants any.
Yeah, if you want
a sticker, go ahead and hit us up. We'll mail you one.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking the time to listen to A Horrible Podcast. I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder saying toodaloo. What's your favorite scare? Oh, fuck it.
Nancy?